Ho, ho, ho! It's me, Disaster Santa, wishing you all a very Merry Christmas from DSW Network. And for you, I've got a very special NW opening video today. Unfortunately, it won't be turbo time, as I'm keeping them mock. So everybody sit down, cozy up by the fire, and get ready to enjoy this year's special, Chestnuts roasting on Latino heat. Hey guys, it's me, the Disaster Man, definitely no one else hosting this video today, and it is NWOpening number 45, Eddie Guerrero Elite 95. But the real question is, we've got the Elite 95, we've even got a figure swap of the Elite 95, which we are going to be opening in this video. But the question arises, are we going to open the chase? I didn't buy this with the intention of keeping it sealed. In fact, I bought this with the intention of opening both and using the tag belts. But I have two of the tag belt now. We will have to see how I feel by the end of this video. It's got a little bit of damage on the card there, actually. I surely can't resell that. I did buy it, but it would be a shame to damage that nice chase paintwork on there. That is the reason I bought these Eddie Guerreros in the first place, was the paint chipping on my original. Oh, we're just going to have to see how I feel throughout the video, I'm afraid. So, Eddie Guerrero, Elite 95. Does this make Eddie Guerrero the first wrestler to be opened on two different episodes of NWOpenings? He's definitely going to be the first one to have two figures opened on NWOpenings. Whether it's just a fig swap, whether we make it three with the chase as well, that's another question. But yeah, I mean, I suppose by the time I get through all these Drew McIntyres, he won't have had the most appearances in NWOpenings, but I digress. So this is a pretty cool figure, but even from the point it was previewed, I wondered what they were thinking with this head mold. Like, it's so bad, and every rational thinking person has the same thought, I think, but we'll get into that later. We've got the Elite 95 packaging, of course. It comes with the WWE 2002, I think these were instigated tag team titles. Spare pair of hands, of course, as a standard issue. Elite 95 on the back there. We've got Big E, John Cena, Jimmy Uso, Eddie Guerrero, Bobby Lashley, and Shotzi Blackheart. Just the Eddie Guerrero for us in that set. But when it came out and I immediately bought both versions of Eddie Guerrero, I was kind of glad that there wasn't anyone else in the set that I wanted to pick up. But anyway, let's get into it. Crack him open. And, you know, roast on this Latino heat. So, these have been sat around for a little while now. Not very long compared to a lot of the figures that have been waiting for openings. But, oh god, I just went straight through the box there. That was nowhere near the tape there. Oh, straight through again. Be careful with modelling knives, kids. Do not use modelling knives for your opening videos and unboxings and whatever. Disaster Man can do it because he is called Disaster Man. So, you know, if a disaster occurs, you know, you got what you paid for at the end of the day. So, there we go. Just cast off that outer shell. We've got Eddie in his little bubble there. And I must admit, the face mold actually looks a lot better on the camera right now than it does in person or on any picture I've ever seen of it. Which, again, we'll get into that later. So, you know what, actually, I've done the effort, I've put in the effort to put all of my Christmas pop figures in the background. We are not going to use the backing card today. Nope, no way. So we're just going to do a very careful and scientific extraction of this delicious figure. Delicious? That's an interesting way to describe a toy, isn't it? I'm going to do the usual method of squashing the whole thing down around him to try and avoid any damage to the joint during extraction. I'm not sure if it really helps or whether if, you know, deforming the plastic just makes the figure deform a bit more before you get it out. But, you know, I tell you what doesn't help. Tying it in. That serves no purpose at all except to slow down unboxing videos. Oh! My knife's just broke! Well, if this isn't another advertisement to not use modelling knives, or at least not use cheap ones. Oh! Fucking just nearly dropped it on my foot. That wouldn't have been a very Merry Christmas, would it? Alright, kids. Certainly do not do what I am about to do. Oh, I can't do it. I can't. I don't have the stones. Where are my scissors? We're going overly safe. We're going for the little tiny scissors. Yes, I got these scissors from IKEA. I like how this wrist just came straight off that tag, and this one is still in. That's so annoying, man. Let's just get in there behind the tape. I don't like cutting around the figure, but, you know, I also don't like spending 25 minutes trying to cut a small tag off. Come on, dude. Oh, there's one on the boot as well. Oh, this has been a chore. At least we're not going to have to go through this shit with the fig swap. Fuck me. Come on now. Oh, just go inside the figure again. Fuck's sake. Remind me again why I bought these figures? Because the paint was getting chipped off on my other one. Right. There we go. There we go. He is free. And then we just quickly grab the two hands. And the belt. And we throw the bubble away. There we go. Okay. So, that is our Elite 95 Eddie Guerrero. Let's take a closer look at him. So, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's address the thing I've been going on about already in this unboxing video, the head. How this head got out of development, design, people thinking this head actually looked good, making it in the factory, how nobody thought this was an appalling head sculpt for Eddie Guerrero. Because, let's face it, the first thing everybody thinks of is very specifically the burrito scene. The scene where someone eats Eddie Guerrero's burrito and has, you know, implied what they used to call a mock the week, a BAD, a bathroom ass disaster. That's what Eddie Guerrero looks like he's had. Like I say, it doesn't look as bad on the video, but on pictures of this figure, etc., it looks like he has followed through. He looks very uncomfortable. He does not look very happy. And that is why we picked up the fig swap version, to get that head off that basic. But more on him later. So that's my main criticism of this figure. Other than that, there isn't much I'm concerned about, except for the fact that the skin tone of him is so dark, I worry that the basic head is not going to be the same shade. But there we got the classic green Eddie Guerrero trunks on there. Great decals there. Latino on the butt. Latino heat indeed. We've got the double jointed elbows. So that's a bit of an upgrade on my figure that was chipping. We've got the open hands, the C-grip hands. You know me, I hate when figures only have closed fists, or those useless open hands, or any kind of AEW hands, because none of them can grip anything. And finally, we have a very interesting piece of additional action in here. The 2002-ish SmackDown Tag Team titles. This is currently my favourite tag belt design. I used to prefer the Raw ones of the same time, but this is my favourite nowadays. Can't really see it on the video, it's a bit washed out, but it's a little bit washed out by the lamps. You might have to, I might have to do that picture in picture. On there, it doesn't actually say World Wrestling Entertainment. It says, Rem. Obviously. Like I say, can't see that great on the video, but yeah. Also, what you can't see is that the colour on this is actually really quite strong. It's quite bronzy. Nice in gold there. It just looks kind of generic, kind of average colour on there, but yeah, it's quite nice in person. We are 10 minutes in and we haven't done a joint check yet. So, first of all, the head. Not that it really matters. Yeah, it's quite stiff. Maybe we'll keep it on. Shoulder. It's alright. It's not great. Knees and toes. Just kidding. Bicep swivel. Ooh, nice and tight there. That elbow is, yeah. either or, you know. Could be good, you could do it's bad. Wrist is fine. That shoulder's better. That elbow's probably about comparable. You know, it's bendable, it's posable. Ab is very tight, very nice. Waist is fine. Leg here. Yep, everything's seeming okay there. That boot's maybe a little bit soft. That leg's nice and stiff. That's fine. And yeah, that is all good. That is all good in the hood. Pretty decent joints. Pretty fine. Pretty happy with that. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this fig swap of Elite 95 Eddie Guerrero. You might notice that is a basic in the exact same attire, in the same box with the same belt and the same hands. And because I hated this head scan, I was going to buy a basic Eddie to head swap. And as it turns out, this fig swap was on eBay for about the price of a basic Eddie, with the added bonus of getting the second tag title and the additional hands. So I saw this as an absolute win. Yes, there's a little bit of paint damage to the head on the figure, but there was a bit of paint damage to the head on all of the basic Eddie Guerreros on eBay. So it seemed like a repaint was going to be the only option. And at the end of the day, yeah. So what I was confused about when I did the opening video is that it looks like the tape's being cut at the top here, but not here, which is interesting. I'm not really sure how they've gotten into that. But there's no point, when I've got 110 NW openings to do, there's no point keeping a boxed fig swap of a tattered basic in my room. So let's get him back out of there and we'll go from there. It's still taped on the bottom as well. Okay, so in this instance, for the first time ever on NW openings, I do not care about the conditions of the figure, of this figure's joints. So we're just gonna carefully extract our second tag team title, and just like that, we have a pair of my favorite tag team titles. Love it. It's great stuff. We're gonna get those extra posable hands in. You can never have too many spare hands, you know what I mean? And finally, we're just gonna reach in there and rip this motherfucker out. Let's take a look. It is literally the exact same attire. I assume this is crafted. I mean, it's red rather than, like, you know, rather than gold. Obviously, the Elite looks way better. But yeah, I mean, the skin tone, I actually think maybe the basic's too dark. Maybe the basic is too dark after all. Huh. Well, we'll see anyway. Who are you? I'm you, but better. That head mold would disagree. Yeah. So, there's not really much I want to do with this, except assess what condition the head is in. So we've got a little bit of beard missing. I can't really see. It doesn't look like there's much damage, if any, to the eyebrows. The hair looks pretty good, actually. It's I think that's pretty good. There's a couple of chips at the front there, but more or less, that looks more or less fine. So, shall we see what it looks like on? And snap. It's not perfect. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be for a second there, but it's not great. Head's kind of more brown, body's kind of more orange. I've kind of been leaning a bit more that way, I think, Mattel recently, like you can see on some of the Hogans. For fitting uses, that might be okay. You might not show up on camera too much. If not, you're going to have to be stuck with the follow-through head. I don't know. It definitely just doesn't quite look right. Hey, you know what? Now that I look at it, I think the basic might actually have better boots. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with them, but like these are a lot more interesting. Okay, guys, just in case, I'm gonna bottle it. I'm gonna bow out. I've already at this point NW opened £49 worth of Eddie Guerrero figures. I'm not gonna make it 69. I'm not gonna make it 69 today because there's no point me opening another outfit for an Eddie Guerrero if I don't like the head on it. And I guess I'm kind of warming to it a bit as I'm going through these videos. It's the forehead, really. It's the stress on his forehead. He looks like he's, like, if you look there, yeah, he's got these ridges on his forehead, but he doesn't look, like, concerned. Whereas there, yeah, he definitely doesn't look comfortable. He looks like Vince McMahon when he was walking to the ring and coined his infamous walk. So I'm not going to open the chase today, guys. Maybe we'll do that as a special some other time, or maybe not. Maybe he'll just be a guy on the shelf with a follow-through facial expression. But ultimately, a review with this figure. Okay, so head swap, not really an option, at least with this basic, which I imagine most of the basics are probably the same sort of skin tone. Head itself, not great. It's a decent likeness of Eddie Guerrero, but I think the face is also too wide. And, you know, that facial expression really doesn't work for me, if you didn't get that impression already. The accessories, I mean, it's a great title belt. You don't see it very often. It's nice to see, and the extra hands are kind of, you know, inherent nowadays. And I think the attire is really nice. I think a couple of people were a bit down on this gear, and they thought it was a little bit boring. But at the end of the day, this, for me, that's kind of, that, you know, that's kind of Eddie Guerrero's look. The green is what I first think of. I don't know about anyone else, but that's what I think of. And ultimately, what I like to do to finish these videos off is talk about what this character is going to do in my Fed. Well, Eddie Guerrero was the champion for a very long time, and sort of what the recorded history of DSW is him losing the title, and we're just going to see where it goes from there. He had a feud planned with the Radicals against another team that I won't mention just in case I change my mind and do that, but I'm probably going to write that off and do something else. Eddie Guerrero's a good lad. He's a good player to have on the roster, I think, because you can put him in the title scene if you really want to. You can chuck him in a tag team with more or less anyone and make it work, because he's just such a like fun character. You could probably chuck him with literally anyone. Or if you just want him to be a mid-card, a solo guy, then you can do that as well. But for now, that just about wraps up this video. So thank you guys for joining me. Have a Merry Christmas. If you enjoyed this video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the NWOpening playlist in the end screen. And I hope you guys get everything that you've asked for Christmas. When you have opened all of your presents, please do come back and tell me what figures Disaster Santa brought for you. Thanks again for watching, guys, and goodbye. You know, this Disaster Santa bit would have gone a lot better if I could find the Santa hat with the beard coming off it, but purple Santa hat a bit different, isn't it? Yeah. I'm going to take this off while I do the video, because it is roasting in here, to be fair.